good.
Welcome everybody to the next edition of the Stay on Course podcast. Today I have Deborah C. Smith, and she's a marketing strategist and a holistic business coach, helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs build simple marketing and sales systems that allows them to scale with ease. She's also the host of the Mindset to Market podcast, and today we're going to be talking about the ingredients for success for cooking up your one-of-a-kind signature offer. Welcome, Deborah, to the Stay on Course podcast.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I am super excited to talk to you today, but before we get started, I ask all of my guests, what is your favorite food?
Oh, no way. I love this question. Oh boy, oh boy. I mean, every single morning I hard boil 2 eggs, and I have there's a very specific green salsa hot sauce that I use, and I pour a little bit of that on my eggs, and I feel like I literally said out loud this morning, I'm like, this is a perfect breakfast. So maybe that's my favorite right now.
I love that. It's a good protein. And it's a good start to the day. You know, you can't have cereal in the morning. Like if I have cereal or any sort of juice in the morning, I have this major crash and then I need to go to sleep. So
yeah, I'm at that phase of life where protein first seems to be working. So
I love it.
I'm going with hard-boiled eggs.
I love the hard-boiled eggs. Well, Deborah, I'm so excited to have you here today. And I always like to tell people how we met. We met at PodFest.
We did. We met at PodFest and we were instantly like, let's talk until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God. Well, you, me, and Sylvia were talking.
Never, ever forget. No, it was great. I love those connections that you make, you know, when you go take a risk, show up at a conference that you might not know anybody. Like I went there by myself and I left with, I literally think lifelong friends made. So I'm grateful for that.
It's very true. And so many of us are podcasters. So many of us are doing a little bit of a different version of what everyone else is doing, which is so exciting because now we have something to talk about where it's actually like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. And it's true. And I was thinking about meeting with you today, and we do something so similar and yet so different because we are who we are, right? I'm me, you're you. We have different upbringings, different lived experiences. And so even if we both have the exact same title and the exact same goal and the exact same ideal client, they're going to be so vastly different. The way we deliver, you know, our lessons or the way that we help people, whatever. I think it's really fun to collaborate and connect with people who are basically doing the same type of work, but doing it so differently.
But today we're going to be talking about building your signature offer. And I think that every small business owner that's here listening right now needs to lean in. I love to tell people, lean in, guys, because today we're going to get the ingredients for success for building that signature offer. And this is the thing, like once you dial that in, you can now just do a rinse and repeat, and focus on that one thing. So let's get started, Deborah. Where do you want to start this?
Yeah, let's get started. So I love that you just said that, and you're right. And I do think that for listeners, if you're in a phase of building your business and trying to promote it in the online space, this is really specific to online marketing because you know, if you have a storefront and somebody, let's say you own a hardware store and somebody needs a rake, when they walk into the store, they're going to go look around, find the rake, pick out the one they like, pay for it and leave. Like it's a lot different marketing from an in-person, you know, in real life brick and mortar type business than it is in the online space where you have a very, very limited amount of time to catch somebody's attention and stand out and differentiate yourself. So I want to just clarify that we're talking about online marketing specifically when I talk about the sort of the ingredients that I have delineated for what makes up a really powerful signature offer. And it's based on that limited attention span and the fact that it's a very saturated marketplace. No matter what you do, no matter what you sell, somebody else is already doing it and selling it. So it doesn't mean you can't have a very powerful, profitable, successful business. It just means you've got to stand out somehow.
I love that. So how do we do it? How are we standing out, Deborah? Where are we going here?
Okay. Well, where we're going is To me, a signature offer is a combination of a few different ingredients, something that really is bespoke to you, the person, the personal brand behind the offer.
Yes.
So this can apply to literally anything that you do or want to sell. So anybody listening, this is not just for people in marketing or in sales or anything like that. This is literally if you have a pet, walking business, or it doesn't matter what you sell.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the way you present this to the audience on the internet. Okay. Just to clarify. And so there's 4 levels to everyone's marketing and sales system. Those levels are the foundations, like having clarity on exactly who you are, what you sell, and who it's for, right? Those foundational levels. Then you have audience building and creating an audience around the thing that you sell. From there, you're going to convert some of those audience members to what we call leads. Those are people who are interested in buying something from you. And then the 4th layer is going to, of course, be sales, converting those leads into paying customers and delivering the thing that you sell to them. So those are the 4 layers. At that first level, right, is this foundational level. And that is where your signature offer lives. And so I'm telling it to you in that way so that you understand that when you get this right, when you build the signature offer in a way that truly, clicks into place, everything else, the audience building, the lead generation, the sales pieces, it becomes so much easier.
Yes.
So I love to really help people just like get clear on that foundational level before you try to do all the things on the internet. Because you can waste a lot of time and a lot of money. And trust me, I have done that. I have been there. So
it's so interesting. Okay, so I'm going to use myself as an example because why not?
Yeah.
We have this program. It's called Before I Lead, and it has now become my signature offer. But it didn't become my signature offer overnight. I had to test it, try it, change it, just like question it, all of the things I had to, and then I had to build it. Right. So It took me a good year to say, you know what, this is working. It's viable. And I can sell this. Now I have people in the program, I have testimonials, and it's like an actual proven system.
Yes.
But how do you help people get to that point where they can envision that or iterate it to the point where it becomes the signature offer? Or is it easier than what I did? Did I do it the wrong way?
Well, such a good question. So I think a lot of us, myself included, we're similar. We know what we love. We know what we want to do. We have an idea about what we're good enough at that we could sell it. And we have a clarity on like, oh, I want to help those people over there, right? We have general knowledge around the what I think of as the ingredients of a signature offer. So we just go out and start doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Not a lot of people sit down and go, I'm going to like construct this from the ground up with these 4 ingredients. So people that come through my coaching program, we do this very intentional research, and we do market research, and we really figure out what is the right way for me to sell this thing so that they don't waste their time. But if you're talking about you and I mean, we invested years and years and years, trial by fire, right? Just doing it to figure out what the thing is that we can actually rinse and repeat and sell and market with ease. So I do think there's a formula, and anyone listening can apply these ingredients and this formula. It's going to be different for every person, which is why it works. So the idea of a signature offer, this is not just a random batch of skills, right? This is not, it's not a random package of services. It's not something that you change every 3 months. It's not that shiny object syndrome, right? It's not built from what people might need. It's got to be driven by a very real market hunger. There's got to be people out there already seeking the thing that you're selling. And if you don't yet quite have your offer, crafted in such a way that it meets a market need, then you've got to test that, collect some data, and then potentially change it and tweak it. And it's also not based on what other people are doing, right? Chasing trends and copying other people will almost never work out big picture. It might work in the short term to make a little quick buck, but it's not going to be your signature thing that you can build, earn buy a house money with. So what a signature offer is it's a very clear, compelling, and process-driven thing that you create yourself. It solves a high priority problem. is one of a kind to you. And we'll talk a little bit more about that ingredient in a second. And most importantly, it brings you a sense of fulfillment or joy. And I think this is an ingredient that far too many people skip or overlook. And when you're in business for the bigger picture and you're serious about building something that you can actually scale, it has got to be something that you enjoy doing every single day, or else it will burn you out.
Yeah.
And I can also vouch for that having happened in my career.
I think it's interesting building the signature offer opposed to, joining a franchise. Like there's so many franchises out there that have their own signature offer that, do you ever direct people to look into franchising or finding a business that's already been established?
That's a good question. I mean, a lot of the people that I work with are already sort of, both feet are already in the lake, so to speak, on their idea. So they're maybe in their second or third year of trying to figure out their business, and they've realized they need a system they can rinse and repeat. They've realized they're ready to invest a little bit of time in building out. Sometimes it's the actual technical funnel, like what is the lead magnet that actually gets people on your list? What is the underground tunnel of, connective tissue that just sails them right on downstream into the next step that they take with you? So there's funnel building and the technical pieces. Largely the platforms can actually do this for us now. So whereas I used to be a much more of a technical support system person, now I'm kind of like, it's much more about the emotional messaging that dresses up the bones of the skeleton that you build. So there's the funnel piece, right? There's the actual like order of things. But I think a bigger thing that people need support with is the clarity piece. And so a lot of times, I actually know the answer to your question is no. I have not instructed people to join a franchise or to just copy somebody else's program. But I think that is a good option for some people because I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone. There's a lot of creativity in entrepreneurship. There's a ton of risk taking. And I know lots of people who would just rather have a very clear, like, give me my marching orders in the morning. They don't mind clocking in at 9 and out at 5. And they just want to be told, what to do. Yeah. And I think that's a style of, work that is really suitable for some people. And then there are people who have this entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
And for those people, that would not satisfy them. So a lot of the people that I support are already kind of like invested in building something themselves.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, and you know what I love about the signature offer? It really is unique to them. And, like you said, their skills and their story, it's really their brand. It's all about, what that looks like. And so, and then what happens for me is like, I can sell my program because I created it, and they're working with me. So I understand like the struggles that they're having and how I can help them. And I think that it's really important that they see me as that person.
Yeah, I mean, that's ingredient number one for the 4 essential elements in my view. And this is after 20 years self-employed, building and launching, literally hundreds and hundreds of digital assets. I've had multiple different coaching programs. I've got a whole slew of courses you can buy. I've really tested the online market in terms of sales. And so I think that these 4 ingredients are, to me, they're critical. There's other variables. There's other ingredients. There's other things that matter. But these 4 I think of as non-negotiables.
Yeah.
So number 1 is exactly what you just said. It's an alignment with your unique skills and story and or lived experience, right? So have you yourself actually gone through this struggle, overcome it, and then are you on the other side of it and you can speak to what it felt like to be in the place that the person you're helping was once in?
Yes.
And this could be, there's millions of different ways that could be true for you, right? Maybe it's that you actually went to college and studied, took 4 years of your life and invested a lot of time to become an expert in the subject matter. It's not that you necessarily had lung cancer, but you went to, medical school and you really understand, right, what's going on there. So to make it clear, like you may not have tripped and fallen down and scraped your knee in the exact same spot, but you understand what it feels like, what it looks like, and when it's that thing, so that you can really speak to the point that they're at when they have a problem.
Yeah.
because identifying yourself as a solution to somebody's problem is really important with online marketing, because a lot, I think it's something like 30% of people in total on the internet are actually in buyer mindset, right? So a vast majority of people who are out there on the internet right now are just out there. They're just scrolling. They're just on YouTube. They're just having, it's entertainment, it's numbing, it's whatever it is. Only a sliver of people are actually thinking, I'm looking to buy something, right? Think about this. Of those 30% or whatever the statistic is right at this red hot moment, I should look it up. It changes. Last time I checked, it was like 30%. Of those 30%, how many of them do you think are just like leisurely, casually scrolling to maybe buy something?
You're like 10%,
A
5%.
very, very slim majority. In fact, almost none. Most people actually go to the internet when they have a problem that they want to solve or something they're seeking to buy, right? If they need a new garden hose, they're not going out there and just kind of like strolling along. No, they're typing garden hose into the Google search bar. So that's the thing you have to remember. Of the very slim number of people on the internet who are even remotely interested in buying something, all of them have an immediate thing that they're trying to solve, a problem they're trying to solve. So we need to present ourselves clearly as a solution to their right now problem, which actually brings me to the second ingredient. So ingredient number one is it's something that you have experience with, right? You've lived it, you understand it. You've got skills and experience in this category that makes you uniquely qualified to sell the thing, right? Because you really understand it. And ingredient number two is that it solves a clear, tangible, and urgent problem. So this is interesting because I always use the analogy of a house being on fire. If a house was on fire, you would know immediately what you need, right? You need to call 911, you need a fireman, and you need water.
Yes.
Everybody who sees a house on fire thinks the same three things right away. So your offer, right? You could solve a lot of problems with your offer. Like as a coach, Julie, I'm sure you solve all kinds of problems all day long.
Yes.
Your job as a marketer is to figure out which of the things inside of that basket of services is the thing that they think is on fire.
Yeah. Well,
right?
and to me, it's always money. Like money is the fire. So
money is usually the fire.
Yeah. If they're not making money and they're lost, that's the fire for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. So I guess my point is for listeners, like it doesn't matter how many different things you could do.
Yeah.
That's you as a service provider. That's you as the person doing your actual job. That's you in your zone of expertise. You could do a lot of things. When you put on your marketing cap and you're thinking about selling that basket of services, you've got to choose the one or two elements that are urgent to your buyer. It's got to meet an urgent need in their minds, not in your mind, in their minds, right? So they have to see it as the solution in the 2 seconds that they're scrolling by. And so that's the thing about internet marketing is like you have very little time. And so you've got to speak to that top of their mind thing. So that's why ingredient number two is that you're selling, your signature offer has to have at least a piece of it that solves that urgent need.
Yes. Yes. And what's really smart, because my program is very diverse, right? We talk about selling, speaking, time management, and, the holistic landscape of a business.
Yes.
But the thing is that there's going to be something that I need to be speaking about that's going to hit them. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to call Julie. And it's one of those things where exactly what you said in your marketing, that needs to come up. The pain point. We need to speak to the pain. Because people buy to get out of pain and to make them happier, right?
That's right.
Why
and it
people
could
buy.
be, and for the comedians and the entertainers and the songwriters and the artists in the world who are like, well, what about me? I create joy. Guess what? When you make someone laugh, that's solving a pain point. When you bring someone joy, that's solving a pain point. So when we talk about pain point marketing and the ethical view of it, the approach I like to take is like, it doesn't mean you're going to needle that problem and needle that pain point and make them feel worse. What you're going to do is say, I see these specific experiences and I'm going to bring you a solution. I'm going to make you laugh.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you build a system that scales you to make more money. I'm going to help you, if you sell psychotherapy or hypnotherapy, I'm going to help you be relieved of the thing that's causing your stress. If you sell yoga class, I'm going to help you stretch. Like you're presenting a solution to a problem, no matter what you sell. And that solution could be make you laugh, bring you joy, help you relax by listening to some music. So don't worry, artists and people of the world who do creative things. This also applies to you. You just got to look at your marketing from the point of view of my client, my ideal audience member's got a problem and I can solve it.
Yeah. I was reading, I don't know if you've heard of Daniel G. He wrote a book called The Sales Game. And in the sales game, he talks about the one reason why we sell things. And he said to make people happy, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. End of statement. Like that's what he said. And that's your job, is to make people happy.
Yeah. I love that because I feel like, as a business owner, there's a lot of, obviously we launched businesses because we had a desire and a dream to build something where we could bring in our own income system and not have to work inside someone else's system, right? There's a freedom piece in entrepreneurial ideation, but the truth is you're building your own steps of work. Like you're still working all the time until you build something that you can, unless it's built with the intention of having a lot of spaciousness. And so I think, when we're thinking about the signature offer, it should be designed based on your lifestyle, right? And so that's actually perfect segue to the third ingredient. I did not plan this, but basically the third ingredient is that it's built with a simple, repeatable process. And there's a reason for that. That is good for you, the creator of your signature offer. It's also very good for your audience, and the person receiving, whatever it is that you sell. So the idea here is that you're creating something that has either steps or an order of things that move from one to the next, to the next, to the next, that it can be broken down into small, tiny, digestible bites, and that you can deliver the information in a palatable format. And it's something that you could do over and over and over again. And this is for those creatives out there who are like, our left brain thinkers who are like constantly chasing shiny objects. I very much relate as a creative. But when I started building offers that had just very basic step-by-step systems, simple, repeatable processes, what it did was it didn't tamp down my creativity and eliminate that part of me that's a creative. It actually opened up so many more doorways to be creative because the system is the same every single time. But guess what? The seasons are not the same. The clients are not the same. The problems that they bring in are not the same. So you have a step-by-step process. Step 1, step 2, step 3. This is how we're moving from A to B inside the system. But it's always wildly unique and different. And anyways, what's the same is the thing you sell over and over and over again. And for anyone who's like, but I sell a journal or I sell, a jump rope or something like that, this applies in the following way. What process did you go through to create that thing that you sell? You can approach it that way. So for example, I always use the example of a slinky. Like the person who created the slinky went through a process of trying to figure out what is the most joyful and, fun toy for a kid. Well, if you sell the process by which you concluded to create this toy, you're doing the same thing as if you, as a coach would say to come into my system, come into my program, my container, and we're going to move through step 1, step 2, step 3. What you're doing is you're breaking down the idea of what you sell into a simple, repeatable, step-by-step, digestible process. It's easier to sell. It's easier to deliver. It makes more sense to people. And you're showing people the inside of what they would actually do with you if they come work with you. Or you're showing them, let's say you sell, a piece of clothing, a pair of jeans that you designed. Show me where the jean material came from and how your sewing pattern was developed. And you're showing me your process. Now I'm invested in the way you made those jeans, and there's value. It's valuation. So
it's important. Yeah. The process is so important, and the roadmap, because certain people are going to see the value in what you're doing by the process.
That's right. So it could be a formula, like you just said, a roadmap. Yes. Again, like maybe you sell something that gets a very quick win, and it only takes 5 minutes for me to digest the information that you're going to share with me. And then I level up immediately. And it's a high value deliverable with a high return on investment, but it only takes 5 minutes. And there's not like 29 steps. in that case, you're going to sell me the steps that it took you to arrive at at this high value conclusion. And you're selling me that you've saved me time by having gone through those steps to conclude this quick win, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, because you are validating the value. You're validating the value of what you're giving them.
Yeah. So for the listeners out there who are like, but my thing only takes 10 minutes to do, but it's like, I mean, look, haircut, maybe it only takes 30 minutes. But what's the value, the process, the training that you went through, the reason that you understand how to do this layering, right? So there's a reason that your signature offer could be a signature haircut that you give. Why are you known for that bob or that layering thing or that special thing? Well, guess what? There was a process involved. So you went to school and spent years and years and years training, and you did this X number of thousands of haircuts to get to this signature process. That's how you sell me the $350 10-minute haircut, instead of me, I don't know, spending $30 and getting a terrible cut from somebody who doesn't have your same signature offer.
I love that. I'm watching this guy, and it's so funny that you're talking about haircuts. I watched this guy on TikTok. I watched this guy on TikTok. He's a barber, right? And I just think it's so interesting, and this is like a man thing. These men come in, their hair is just like crazy. They have these beards, and like people travel hours to work with this guy. But he's built himself a brand on TikTok where these guys are like, well, he's like, well, where you come from? They're like, Illinois. I drove 4 hours to come here, wherever. And they're like, because we see the work that you do, and you're the only one that can fix me, And so
that is such a good example. That's a perfect illustration of this. Like, he's got his thing and his process, and it's something that he's doing. He's repeating how he does it over and over again on TikTok, showing. Yeah.
He's showing everything. So he says, all right, so when was the last time you got a haircut? The same video. He's like, all right, man, you ready to get back in the game? They're like, yeah, and it's like,
I love it.
I got to show you this guy because I'm literally obsessed with watching
send me
transformations. Yes, I'm going to send it. I got to get him on my show because I'm going to try to get him on because he's so unassuming, and he's just doing haircuts.
Yeah, but the thing is, so this is why, okay, just to clarify for listeners, like your signature offer, this ingredient of a simple, repeatable process, there's a lot of ways that this can be executed in terms of it being an ingredient and what makes your thing special and unique. This is such a good example, this guy's haircut thing, because what he's doing is he's making his TikTok presentation of the haircuts, like the cuts themselves might be really different, but he's setting up the information that you, the listener, the audience member, digest in a simple, repeatable process. Do you see how that fits in there?
It's so good.
It could be that as a coach, if you come to me, all of my clients, listen, every single person I work with is wildly different. They have different niches, different industries, different levels of experience, different levels of investment in, being a business owner. There's no two the same. The only thing the same with them is that they go through my simple, repeatable process. It affects them differently because they're investing different levels of expertise and knowledge. They have different amounts of time to invest. Everything about it else is different, but what's the same is that they're going from A to Z through a series of steps that it took me, honestly, being 20 years self-employed to really compound and figure out, like, this is the way that I do it. And it's based on, I think, the logical order of things for business building, and of course, time-tested marketing and sales, practices that are the same from the day that, from caveman era. Like, there's things about marketing and sales that have never, ever changed. The psychological triggers that cause a human being to want to make a purchase are essentially the same over the course of decades and decades. What has changed is the platforms, the way that we certain vernacular, right? But the systems themselves are pretty much the same. So if you have a simple, repeatable process by which you speak to your audience, it helps them receive, it helps them digest, it helps them take the next bite, which is moving down your pipeline to buying your offer, right?
Exactly.
So that's why we do that. And then moving on to the fourth ingredient of your signature offer, and a far too often overlooked ingredient, in my opinion, is that the thing that you do brings you joy, lights you up, like turns you on, makes you feel excited, is like jazzy. It's like a hell yes for you all the time, that you really feel like, yeah, this is my thing. I love it. When I work with clients, I look forward to it. Can't wait to cut another hair. Can't wait to plop open TikTok and blast the whole universe with this amazing thing I created. Like that will keep you in business if you love it. And you can renew your faith with that thing, like really love it, and it truly lights you up, then you have a golden set of ingredients.
It's amazing. And like we talked about before, that our job as providers and service providers is to make people happy. So if we're not happy, how do you make them happy? There's literally no way to make someone else happy if you're not happy yourself. If you haven't closed yourself on what you're doing, you're never going to make any sales because no one's going to believe you. It's right. That they feel your energy. This is an energy exchange.
That's right. And I think you just put your finger on the main reason why this ingredient is so crucial, is because at the end of your 4 levels of setting up your business and getting ready to market and sell it is that sales piece. 100% of sales is energetic. It's about relationships and trust and connection. And if you don't love what you do, it is going to be so hard to sell it. It's going to be so much harder and heavier of a lift to go out there every day and be like, hey, everyone, my coaching business is open for enrollment. Like, who cares? If you don't love it, I'm not interested. And so we've got to love what we do. And I'll tell you what to watch out for here, because I see this literally all the time. People come to me and they're like, I have these 2 ideas. And they're like, I've already been doing this, I do this all the time and I'm pretty good at it. What I really want to do is this, but I just don't know. I don't know if it will sell. I don't know. And every single time I'm like, which one do you love? Which one do you love? It like lights you up. It's what you think your purpose is here on planet Earth or whatever. And it's always the thing that they're dreaming about that they're afraid won't sell. But over here is this really safe thing. I already know how to do it. I already know how to sell it. And it's like the they don't want to do it anymore. And they're afraid to chase their dream. And so I'm like, look, I can't promise you sales because that really is up to you to put your face out there on the internet and say like, hey, everyone come buy the thing. But what I can promise you is if you run that dream through this 4 ingredient formula and you set this thing up and you follow the basic principles of marketing and sales and you build that audience and you convert some to leads and you just start to run the numbers, the data doesn't lie. Like if you love it, you'll find you can sell anything on the internet. You can sell a dirty sock on the internet if you love it. Like you look at the internet. People are selling crazy things. Like you can sell anything.
Dirty sock. Here we go.
My point is like, there's all kinds of crazy stuff on the internet that people are making $1 million from. So why not you with the thing you dream about and you feel is your purpose, right?
I love it. Yeah.
It's just that people are missing these systems that are scalable.
Yeah. And, somebody said something to me the other day about energy and they said, Julie, you just don't think I have the energy or something like that. I'm like, well, I didn't say it like that to them, but I need to believe you, right? It's not like it's acting, but it's not acting, but when we're speaking to somebody and you know what I mean by this, you meet somebody new and they're talking to you and you're like, I don't believe what you're saying. Like the way you're saying it and the energy you're giving me is not equal. And so there's the BS meter that people have with people.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, to be honest with you, my solution to that for clients who are struggling to like believe themselves, because like if you don't believe somebody, it's because they don't believe themselves. And you as a person who's in this industry of serving and supporting people as they develop their business skills and acumen, you can read that on somebody.
Yeah.
So if you say to somebody, I don't believe you, what you're really saying is, I don't think you believe yourself.
That's right. That's right.
And so this 4 ingredient formula solves that problem, because if you sit down and you really go, okay, what are the things that I've done in this lifetime that I'm actually really good at? Like I could teach you how to rake the lawn. Okay, great. Let's go with that. Like I'm really, really, really good at lawn mowing patterns. I'm making this up, obviously. But like, let's just say that's like, I've mowed hundreds of lawns. I've always done my grandma's lawn. It goes all the way back to my dad's lawn. And then I've did my neighbor's lawns. And whenever it snows, I don't know, whatever. Let's say you're expert. You've got thousands of lawns mowed. You're like, that's my thing. I'm really, really good at it. Okay, great. Does it solve a clear, tangible, urgent problem? Yeah, everyone's got grass on their front lawn. Great, moving on. What's your simple, repeatable process? Well, I have a zigzag pattern that I call my special pattern. I always do it that way. Great. Well, how does it start? It begins at this end of the driveway and it moves across like that. And I make this beautiful like baseball diamond pattern. That's really special. Not everybody can do that pattern. Okay, now we're in the special category of zigzag baseball diamonds, right? And then does it actually light you up and make you feel happy? It's, yeah, I actually love my riding lawnmower and like I can't wait to go mow some lawns. Well, if those all things are in place, then you have a viable product that you can sell. Because you're going to go out there and be like, you guys, I know that high school kid is mowing your lawn or whatever for $15 an hour, but if you just give me $20 an hour, I'm going to make it shine like the Yankees stadium. And you're in a different lane because
Absolutely.
you believe in your thing, your special way that you do it. And so, I mean, that might not be the greatest example.
No,
but
it's perfect. I loved it. I loved it. Deborah,
Yeah.
I mean, this has been such an amazing conversation. The value that you've given the audience is amazing. Where can we find out more about what you're doing?
You can find out more about what I'm doing on my website. It's deborahcsmith.com, and I spell my name with the O-R-A-H. So it's D-E-B-O-R-A-H, letter C, S-M-I-T-H.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I am on all the socials, really. Yeah. And anybody who is interested, I created a signature offer AI prompt that walks you through these 4 special ingredients.
Ooh.
And so I have a training that goes with it. And it's basically a wonderful little tool that I developed that helps people play around with these ingredients to kind of come up with a really viable offer that they could sell.
I love
I'm
that.
happy to share that with your audience.
Okay. I need that. I want to look at that.
It's really fun to play with.
All right. Deborah, thank you so much for being a guest on the Stay on Course podcast.
I love it. Thank you so much, Julie. It's so good to see you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.